Welcome back to another episode of Zarpado, a passion podcast.
Well, I had to take a brief pause there to find out what this is going to be because I have a very special guest myself. Is that correct?
Yes.
And the lovely interviewer, Toni who, after the first time we did our interview, episode 15, she said, I would love to see an episode of someone interviewing you.
But no one did.
No one has until right now. And so we're going to do this one and see if maybe someday we post it.
Okay.
So I am now officially handing this over to you.
Thank you. So be my guest. Hagen, Javier. Take a rest, relax, and be honest.
Okay.
So, tell me a little bit since the last time we had an interview. We had our interview.
Mm-hmm.
It was 4 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
How have these 4 months been for you?
Pretty cool.
Pretty cool. That's a simple answer. Tell
Oh,
me more.
man.
How
Well-
was January? What did you do in February?
In February or January?
In January first.
Well, me and my friends went to Brazil to ring in the New Year and Christmas. And that was right after we had left Chile. And I found out that you liked me, which was something I had not a clue in the world beforehand after we met in October.
Mm-hmm.
And I was, at the time enrolled in my rock climbing school in Denmark.
Yeah, I do remember that.
And everybody that I met, I would say, yeah, I'm moving to Denmark to go study rock climbing. And everyone was like, wow, really? And it wasn't until after...
Why Denmark?
Why Denmark?
No. Well, yes. I already asked you that, but everybody was asking you that. Why Denmark? There's no...
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
There's no mountains.
Yeah, everybody said Denmark. Like, why are you studying rock climbing in a place with no mountains? And, apparently it was because it was close to, like, the Alps or something, and you can go over there. Keep in mind, I'm not very good at geography, so...
Yeah.
But I know they had an indoor facility.
Yeah, you have been studying, right?
Yes. There's a certain someone I'd like to impress. She likes it when I work hard and gain knowledge. I think it's I don't know. She might be a teacher or something.
Yeah, probably.
But, yeah. But apart from that, I was pretty much determined to go there until we went to Chile. And I remember after you told me that you liked me, but you're sad because I was leaving. In that moment, I was like, no, I'm not. Nope. And just as easily as I came upon the plan of going to Denmark when I met Federico in the same spot I met you, I just as easily said, okay, not doing that.
Who's Federico?
The buddy who went to the program in Denmark.
Oh, right.
He's on episode 2 of the podcast.
Yeah.
And I made the decision to finish my time in Argentina. And, sorry, we're recording. Grab my rock climbing stuff in California and come right back. And since doing that, I just know it's the right decision. My podcast has grown, my self-confidence, my Spanish, There's things I've learned about myself and about making life decisions that have really coincided with the decision really to come back and see you and to continue my time in South America.
Yeah, I can see that. So, you seem very in love.
Yeah.
Have you been in love before?
I have not been in love. And it's like we said, I've loved people. There's a difference when you're in love.
Yeah, because you told me that one of your passion is, I don't know if it's exactly this, but I don't know if people are one of your passions, but talking to people or just socializing with people is one of your passions, right?
Yeah.
But how does this situation relate to your passion with socializing with people?
What situation? Living in Santiago?
No, being in love.
Being in love. I don't know. Can you explain the question a little bit more? I don't quite know how to answer.
How does your passion with people in general relate to being in love for the first time right now?
Okay. Well, partly, one thing that I love, I always notice that different moments and things in my life, when I meet people, I tell them about it. And, whether it was before moving to Argentina, actually go back even further, before graduating college, when I would meet anybody, what I would tell them was, I am graduating soon and I'm giving the speech of my graduation.
Great speech, by the way.
Thank you very much. And then after that, it was everybody, didn't matter if I met someone 5 minutes at a bar, somehow the conversation would go to, I'm moving to Argentina. And then being in Argentina, it then went to, I have a podcast, I'm moving to Denmark. And now I've noticed a lot of the people that I meet, the first thing that I end up getting to is you. Is telling people I'm here because I met an amazing girl. And I always say, una chilena increíble. Increíble este weón.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. So, if you have moved to Denmark, you think you would learn how to speak
Danish?
Danish, yeah.
I believe I would have picked up some, but as far as reading and writing, in speaking, I don't think I would have been able to do that in a new language fresh in only 5 months.
And what about Spanish?
What do you mean, what about it?
Would you forget about Spanish?
I mean, I wouldn't be speaking it. I know that for sure. Other than messaging friends. But, even that I noticed in just 2 months in California and speaking Spanish there, but not being around the Spanish. That's what I really feel contributes to whatever language is whatever you're around. Not necessarily that you're speaking it every day, but that you need in little interactions like loading money onto your card, ordering food, you're around it, you hear it, you need it to survive. So I don't think I would have been continuing speaking Spanish.
Okay, so about Chile, these times, I know you feel very comfortable and well. You're doing well here in Chile, in Santiago. But tell me more about your personal life. How you feel beside me here in Chile.
Like if I were to take you out of the situation of me being in Santiago.
Yeah.
It's a great question. Well, as I've told you, that was in the past couple of weeks, because I feel like the first couple of weeks here were, exciting, new.
Yeah. And
I'm with my girlfriend, and we just had so much fun spending time together that...
It was also a lot a little crazy because I had a lot of work.
Yeah, and in those first couple weeks, you know, I didn't have much. I was working and chilling,
Yeah.
and
And
it
getting to know
seemed,
everybody.
yeah, and it seemed pretty easy. And I feel like it wasn't until about 3-4 weeks in that I started realizing, like, okay, if I want to make this thing last with Toni, I need to be more myself. And who I am is not a socially dependent person.
Of course.
And I think that's, I mean, when you met me, I was with all my friends. And you came up and we just talked and we went out and did that. And I started, you know, thinking a lot that, hey, I'm going to need to go do a lot of, you know, part of the reason that I did the school too is like I want to meet my own people and not be dependent on Toni to introduce people to me. And even the people that I do meet, like maintain the friends with them, because I knew that who you fell in love with was me, being me. And if I want to continue that, I gotta continue being Hagen. So apart from that, I mean, now I feel like it's clicked that, like I told you, I may not understand a lot of things when I'm in a big group of people, but I know that when people talk to me one-on-one, they get to know me.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I know that for sure.
yeah, and so that's been a really kind of a self-confidence booster for myself, knowing like, okay, cool. Even though I'm still figuring out this dynamic of getting to know people in a new city in a new language, because Spanish here is a new language. It's a literal new language. Speaking it in a year in another country doesn't mean you speak the same in a new country, in Chile. And so yeah, that was actually a really cool confidence booster that I think I had a lot of this weekend I learned. Or not this weekend, this like past week and this weekend. Yeah.
So, what else can I ask you? Remember I told you the other day that the hardest thing was to start? So, do you agree if I tell you that the hardest thing was, or no, not the hardest thing, but if I ask you if the first one or first 2 weeks were the hardest weeks here in Santiago?
Would I agree? No.
No?
No, because it almost felt like the first couple weeks were just a vacation. You know? You were showing me around. I was getting to know around me. And it wasn't until, like, I feel like the third week, which felt like the first week. You know? Because it was when I was settled into my house. You know, my conversations with Lucas at the house weren't, like, getting to know you. It's more day-to-day, like, oh, cool, how's work? Yeah, sweet. Different things like that. So I'd say I would agree that the hardest thing is to start, but I feel like the perception of when the start of Santiago was different because it kind of felt like a vacation. First, like, week and a half or so.
Okay. I understand. And what's your Zarpado moment here in Chile
So far?
so far?
You know, and really thinking about it, I think it was the day that you called me and needed me. Because, you know, remembering the definition of Zarpado, it's either the greatest thing ever or the worst ever, you know? And not necessarily the worst, but something really, really bad. And seeing the way that you felt on that day. You know, I was worried about you, and it was just felt like it was a normal start to a day, and we were even together, I think. And then I went to school, and it was all down to the little details. I mean, right when you called me, my phone was in my pocket. I usually miss the calls on WhatsApp because the ringer so
Low?
Yeah, low. The vibration is so minimal that I just happened to, and usually I never even take my phone out on the subway. You know, I learned from Argentina. And I just happened to put my hand down, and it was right when on my pants, and it was right when the phone started ringing. And when you called me and just said you needed me, I just was like, okay, boom, I'm there. And I was like, shit, like, how the fuck do I get there? Like, in my past. And I look up, and I was right at Pedro de Valdivia. And I was like, this is where her school is.
Yeah.
And I just walked out.
Yeah, you were there in like 5 minutes.
Yeah. And I think that was such a Zarpado memento because, you know, one of the things that I love more than anything is knowing that I can protect someone that I love, and that I can count on you. Yeah, knowing that you can count on me.
Obviously.
And protect, and also want to be doing that, because I've had situations in the past where there's been someone freaking out, you know, whether it's a friend, you know, relationship, anything, and then I was just like, fuck, I don't want to have to deal with this, you know? But I was excited to be able to be there for you. And then after that, you know, I just wanted to make sure that you're okay for then, and went to school, and my school was like, hey, like, how was it? And I ended up having a fantastic day at school that day. And, you know, being able to tell them, like, oh, like, she just needed me. And then just jumping right into school and going on that tour later, you know, and me and Fabiana, the one that sent me all the pictures, walked in through the market and walked into the flower area. And at the same time, we just looked at each other, and she was like, you're buying some for your girlfriend, right? And I was like, I'm literally standing here right now to do it. And everybody looked at me, and they're just like, oh, está enamorado. Everyone was saying that in the group. And I just smiled, and I said, yep. And I bought those flowers because I knew it was tough for you. And I was like, okay, she loves sunflowers, and I can buy her some flowers today. And even down to when I came and brought them to you, you know, the girls were out on the balcony, and Isi saw, and she, and just smiled, and it was just, I don't know, I just knew that I handled that day right.
Yeah, for sure.
And
thank you, baby.
And that felt so great.
Thank you, my guest. Let's be more professional.
Yes, please. We're sitting now at a table, sitting across from each other at a table.
Yeah, drinking coffee.
Yes, coffee and...
2 American.
Yes.
So tell me, I'm curious. Who's your favorite... your favorite Tony's male friend? Benja.
That fool's my brother. I love that guy. We were last night. Last night was just the bond of a century. Me, him, and his best. I told them, I was like, if you were here, if you went to where I'm from, and we were with one of my best friends, just as you guys are, because that's his boy, I said, we would be doing the exact same thing. Showing you the songs that we had the memories with. And it was always down to, they would put a song on, and it'd be like, they'd just both be like, singing, they'd be like, ¿Qué dice? And then sing, like, the words. And then either one of them would just give me a quick memory of what they were doing during the song, you know? During the time where they listened to the song. And that was such a cool thing because I love that music does that. It gives people, especially looking at it from their perspective, like they shared that and they could, like, since it was two people together that lived those moments, they could put it there, tell me about what was happening, and that would just lead into other stories, you know. He played this song and he was like, this is what I would listen to when I was in my feels from my ex-girlfriend. And it was just this Bad Bunny song where it was just the funniest shit ever.
What about the girl?
What about the girls?
Yeah.
Who's my favorite so far of the girls that I've met?
Yeah.
Of who I've met. I mean, one of my favorites, even though we haven't seen her much, Jo, just because of the advice that she gave me about my podcast. That really meant a lot. But I'd say of who we've met and hung out with and had the most fun so far. Let's see, what did we... I really like Danny.
Yeah.
I really like Danny.
Yeah, she's very...
She was someone that I could see us going out and just
Totally.
having a crazy fucking night with. I just get that sense from her.
Yeah, and you're not wrong. And I wanted to ask you, you feel that you learn a lot of things here in Chile this past 3 weeks besides Spanish?
Besides Spanish, but like life things or like culture, different things like that. Yeah. I would say of that, I think it's been a huge, like that one talk we had the other night about the way that culturally you guys view people. And it's not by color. It's not by, you know, what they look like, if they're fat, if they're old, if they're tall, small, which is a very, I'd say the first thing that we look at in the States. But it's if they're, you know, Chilean, you know, if they're from here. And I mean, now I've been learning more about problems with immigration, and I could see how that could be another story. But coming from a culture where we look at what you look like, who you are, where you're from first, before looking at, are you, you know, an American? Are you from this place? That was a huge thing to me to know, like, it's possible for a society to not start with looking at that. Because at the way that shit was when I left the States, it was like, I don't think we can ever get past this problem with racism, stuff like that. That was one of the hugest things. What else can I look at? What else have I learned? I mean, I feel like I'm learning a lot about relationships, you know, and how to be in one again, because it's been a while. And also how to be in one that you want to make last. You know, do the right things. And what I learned a lot is to just not think so much and really try to keep it simple. You know, there's something that I want to ask, talk about it. And fears, jealousy, all those things, all they do is just come in and cause problems. So that's been a huge thing that has actually been really good for me to...
I think the advice that Nathan today told you was very good.
That he told me today?
Yeah, all that you told me today.
About what?
About being to tell her something, just tell her.
Yeah.
But just tell him. Yeah, I think that's very true.
And, you know, and that advice was about the social independence thing. Because he was saying, like, you know, she knows that you're capable of making friends and going out and doing that. But you just have to tell her that that's something that you're, you know, nervous about right now. I mean, you're a new city, all that stuff. And, you know, it was just so reassuring when I did, and you were like, I'm not worried at all about you. Are you kidding me? And to see, you know, how much fun I've had in the past week in the stuff we've done and all that, it's like, fuck yeah, like, this is great to be able to go out and do this together. And then, you know, going and climbing with Cote and Bicho alone and with Lucas and being like, I mean, yeah, it'd be dope if Toni was here, but it's also dope she's not, because I'm having a great time on my own.
Yeah.
You know? Well, you're just in a freaking famous person's house. That's my girlfriend. That's my girl. I have always said that I want to be with someone that will do equally, if not doper things than I'm capable of doing. Because I say that because I know I'm like probably one of the coolest people I've ever met. And I know that everything I do is dope as fuck. So I want my partner to be doing dope things with me or on her own, to then come together and be able to tell each other about the dope things.
Well, you know what? I don't know about you, but if I say from my perspective, if I talk about by my perspective, I would say that I never expect being in this kind of relationship that young.
Yeah.
Do you think so too?
If I'm being honest, I didn't think I would expect it, but I think in a sense, without maybe admitting it, I was kind of looking for something like this, you know, because I had my time of.
Yeah, we get it.
Yeah. Don't need to go anymore. What was the question again? But no, I honestly didn't. But, you know, life gives you what life gives you. And when you learn, you just go with it.
Yes. So, did you have fun today?
Oh, see, it's kind of hard interviewing someone.
No, it's not. So.
Oh yeah, nothing's hard for Toni.
I'm just improvising. You always had the questions in your head.
Yeah.
Or written in some paper.
Me? I do. Oh yeah, I do. I practice weeks before.
Yes.
How was today? Today was marvelous.
Marvelous.
Because even better, I got so fucking wasted last night. And Ben had just texted me at 4 p.m. saying, I've never been more hungover. And we drank so much together, and I was not hungover because of the wise advice from my girlfriend last night. She wouldn't let me come to bed until I pounded water and ate a banana. And then I ate some pasta and talked to myself in the mirror a little.
Yeah, that was the funniest part. I was hearing him from the bed. He was saying to himself.
Okay, say what I actually said.
Okay.
Don't say what you said today.
What you actually said?
Yeah.
That was exactly what I said.
Tell him.
Oh, Hagen, you're so strong. Oh, so strong. So strong. Oh, yeah. You have a model girlfriend. Oh yeah. Your hair.
Hey, self-love is important.
Your new haircut, oh, you look so good. You're so hot.
I didn't say that.
Yeah.
I might have said that.
You have new friends. You're the shit.
Okay, yes, we get it. I love myself, and I told myself so last night. Move on. I also said some very nice things about you.
Yes, you do. Thank you.
So apart from that, it felt great being that hammered last night and waking up and not being hungover and able to help around the house.
Yeah, I appreciate that very much.
Yeah.
I have another question for
Okay.
you. Have you been always that? Have you always had that much confidence with yourself?
Hell no.
No.
But in a sense, yeah. I mean, there's phases in my life where I really struggled with self-confidence. But, I mean, I grew up with just the support. I mean, my parents always told me, like, not only are you a leader, but, like, you're going to do amazing things. And you're different than the people around you. And believe that.
Mm-hmm.
And so that really attributed to my self-confidence.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd say that the hardest years for me were probably 19 to 21.
Mm-hmm.
Because that was where for the first time I started questioning, like, okay, who are you? Like, what do you want to do with your life? What kind of person do you want to be?
Mm-hmm.
You know, what type of things are you interested in? You know, and so that was the first time that those questions ever really kind of came into my head.
Mm-hmm.
And they really struggled with my social abilities, my self-confidence, you know, and because they're like all a bunch of questions that you don't want to ask a lot of people because they really only have to do with you.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, it's around the same thing. It's like those type of questions when they bounce around in your head. It's like what Nathan told me, you know, if you don't ask her what's on your mind, you're gonna just try to close the loop in your own head, and
Yeah, I understand.
And it's not possible.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
And what about your physical confidence?
In my body?
Yeah.
That is definitely not something I've always had.
Really?
Oh my gosh. You don't know what it's like growing up a chubby boy. I was chubby until I was 16 years old. About 15 and a half years old. And then I really grew into myself.
Mm-hmm.
And then from there, I never really had a problem with. A couple of times, like, during the pandemic when I was just smoking weed and playing video games, started getting a little belly again, and I was, like, getting nervous to taking my shirt off at some points because they would bring in the old 13-year-old hagen fears, swimming with the shirt on in the pool, and yeah. So that was new. I mean, but now I'm
the shit.
I'm the shit. I'm fucking hot. No, I wasn't gonna say that, you did. I was gonna say because of rock climbing, I'm a lot stronger, in good shape.
Uh-huh.
You know, I got a girlfriend who likes my body, so it's easier now.
How do you know I like your body? I would like you if you were fat too.
I know, but I'm not, and you told me that you like my body, so that helps.
Okay.
That's how.
Okay. So Hagen. Hagen, I never call you Hagen.
You always call me Hagen.
I always call you baby.
That's true. You do a lot. But you also call me Hagen a lot. Mainly talking to other people.
Yeah.
That's true.
But not to
Hagen.
you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hagen. So you really like my peanut butter, right?
I love it.
Yeah. He always comes to my house and eats my jars of peanut butter. And my apples. And my pasta.
Yeah.
And
My pasta.
And he really likes tuna now.
Oh, fuck no, I do not. Get out of here. That's how much I love this girl, because I still kiss her after eating a can of fucking tuna.
You don't. I wash my teeth after.
Yeah, but I would kiss you.
Oh, well, you don't have to.
I'd like to. Prove to myself that I still...
There's not much difference between tuna and salmon.
Yeah.
Beak.
Doesn't matter. Still love you.
Mm-hmm. What else can you tell me about your last 3 weeks up in Santiago de Chile.
In Santiago.
Shout out to Nick Bots.
Shout out to Nick Bots. Love my gringos.
Humble gringo.
Yeah. You know, I've really fallen in love with the design of the city. I think it is a very, you know, people always talk about how impressive Chile is, like, as far as having a good economy and different things like that. And while that is good, it also brings problems, you know?
Mm-hmm.
It makes the people a little bit more closed off. I don't know what it is about having a well-functioning society. It makes the people more closed off to each other. I think maybe because it's less opportunities to ask for help, or less opportunities to, if a city functions good. Do I have lint in my belly button? Okay, don't need to ask that right now. That was a title of a movie I saw the other day. But I really do think that Santiago has a really great design for skaters. And I do. And you know that that's really big to me. Because even though I'm not a gnarly trick skater, I cruise. Like, that's my preferred way of any way to ever get around. More than a car, more than a bike, more than a train, plane, skateboard. And San Diego, well, I still think is a better one because the only difference is there's not a lot of people there. Santiago it's got these bike lanes everywhere that just got straight up butter pavement. And for a cruiser like myself, like, I'm in heaven. And so I've really grown to love that about Santiago. To anybody from Argentina who listens to this, I am sorry. I do prefer the empanadas here. They're bigger. They have better ingredients. I don't know about quality of ingredients, but damn, they taste better. And when that comes down to something like empanadas where you need to grab it fast, I would 1,000 times prefer a chicken and cheese than a beef and egg empanada. And so that's one thing I've really come to love about Santiago. I've loved my school that I've been taking, the people I've met, the Spanish that I've learned, the independence that I've gained from, you know, using the metro myself to get there, meeting people, knowing another part of town without my girlfriend who's from here.
Telling everybody that you're from California.
Yep. I mean, that doesn't matter if I'm in Chile. It just, anytime I'm outside of California, I like telling people I'm from California. What can I say? I'm from a place where the whole world knows. And I love to tell them about it.
Except to California.
Yeah. But, no, I mean, this doesn't really have to do with Santiago, but it's because of being here. I mean, shit with the podcast is amazing right now. I've never, I don't think, been at a more dialed in. I still got to work with Kike to flesh out some things. But, I mean, all that comes with working together and not letting him slack off. But, I mean, I'm really at a point where can see the possibility of some cool things happening. And that all happened while being here. And so that's amazing. I mean, the new friends, Lucas, I literally see a possibility of me and Lucas, like, working together in the future. Not just being friends, but really, like, making some change.
Yeah, I know.
So that's cool.
Thank you, Hagen.
I could have kept going, but yeah.
Sorry, what?
I could have kept going. There's a lot of things I've learned.
No, it's okay. I don't know if this is too much to say, but I know you really we really enjoy this relationship so far.
Yeah.
But what is the hardest thing of being in a relationship? Especially being with me.
Okay. So do you want me to answer hardest part in relationship in general or our relationship? Or both?
Both.
Okay.
You can mix and match.
Yeah, okay. Whatever we're feeling. I'd say one of the hardest things about being in a relationship is not adding, and this is going to sound cliche, but it's really true, like the baggage that you have.
Mm-hmm.
And, whether that's experiences you've had, whether that's, people that have done you wrong, things that you've done that are wrong, because it's not just only things that happen to you. It's a two-sided thing.
Yeah.
So that's that's always, no matter who you are, who you're with, that's always going to be a part of it. And learning how to approach a relationship where you can truly tell yourself none of that has anything to do with the person I'm with right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, not only, and I think it's a little bit easier for us, and I'm not going to say easier because that makes it sound like there's no work that's involved, because there is.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that just another reason why we work very well is because in those moments, I can really realize that those things that happen to me have literally nothing to do with you. Because when all those things happened and who I was, you were 10,000 miles away in another country. So it really has nothing to do with you. And so that kind of, when that enters in my head, that kind of helps a little bit more than, say, if I was, with someone from where I'm from, you know? And I've noticed that, and that actually is a really cool thing. I'd say with you, and without wanting to get in trouble, because I love you, baby. Oh, man. I'd say really trusting. I never thought I had trouble with trusting really until you. And not to say that I have trouble, but kind of that. And maybe it's just because the things that did happen were very recent, or like the recent ones. And you're just such a free, confident, cool person that it's hard to just sometimes be like, man, I gotta just trust her, or I do trust her that, nothing is gonna happen, like nothing, she's not talking to other guys, stuff. That's a hard thing, because when I do look at you, I'm so beyond amazed that I even met you. Because even with your little quirks and things about you that drive me crazy, I have never met a more amazing person than you. And I say that with every ounce of honesty that I have. And I think that also contributes to fears that are interjected, because I read a quote from the book I gave you that was why is it that when success comes into our life, fear comes into our life as well. And it's because when you experience that success, you start to fear losing it. But you have to think of how the success even came into your life in the first place. And it was because you weren't living with fear. You did something that allowed that to happen. And when I met you, was probably at the time one of the peaks of my life. I mean, I'd met Gabby and Mariusz and Alyssa and Alex and Irene, and we were going on trips together, and we were living in a city, going out almost every night, or not even, but like at least for sure every weekend, but like we would just go to dinner with different groups of people from other parts of the world. and it was always like a couple of us, and we would always invite everybody, and some people would go, different dynamics. It felt kind of like Friends or like How I Met Your Mother, you know? And minus everybody sleeping with each other. Except, no, I won't say names. But even that added to some of the fun. And, you know, I can honestly say that when I met you, I was at a point where I was really, you know, I wasn't letting the negative sides of everyday life, you know, negative thoughts, different things like that, worries, fears, kind of enter in. I was very like, I know who I am, I know what I'm doing, and am happy with where I'm at. And I think part of that had to do with attracting you, you know? And so I don't quite remember what the question was.
Don't worry.
But that's my answer.
Well, thank you. So, to end this episode, I would like you to answer me this last question, it's a bit like yours. What advice would you give to couples or to everyone who would like to have a partner from another culture?
From another culture?
Yes.
Oh, nice. You know, I think that in that situation, I mean, and this goes for anything, it's not just from another culture, you know, taking the time to find the little things and the things that you appreciate, the things that make you guys unique. But even more so on someone from a different culture is knowing how much you guys differ and how much of different experiences you lived. I mean, that goes with everybody because no one's the same. But I feel like in the same way that I answered that question earlier, because we're from different languages, we're from different countries, actually, same continent. I learned that now. North America and South America are, in fact, part of one continent, America. It's embarrassing to say that I did not know that, but but I also consider myself an honest man, so I will say that I didn't know that. And I owe my girlfriend $10. But I'd say taking the time to find out how you appreciate those differences. Like, for instance, one thing that I really appreciate is sometimes we don't understand each other, like words-wise. And luckily we have 3 languages between us that we can try to find the right words for. But sometimes it honestly helps me because I can say something that I didn't mean to say and you don't understand it. And then you're like, what? And then I get an opportunity to explain it and I can say whatever the hell I wanted to say after hearing what I said.
We're having a serious conversation after this.
No. It's all good. It's not that it's happened a lot. But I've learned to love that. It's almost like a fail-safe, or really when you say something kind of stupid or not funny, you're just like, oh, never mind. It's not important. Because usually with someone, they're like, no, tell me. Because they understand, you know. But with us, I've just been like, God, what a great partner. What a great thing. Because I could say something dumb as fuck and be like, hey, never mind. And then you're like, okay. And I think same too with you. But
yeah, I think I do the same thing with you.
Yeah, because sometimes you just can't explain.
Yeah.
You can't explain, and in situations where it's like too tiring to explain, and
or you don't have enough time to.
Exactly, and it's like, don't worry about it, and then the other person will be like, well, there's really nothing to worry about because I didn't understand it, so okay.
Or it's not necessary.
Yeah.
To understand it.
So that's one piece of advice, and I think, I don't want to just keep going on too long, but making sure to never ever stop making yourself better. Not just for the other person, but for yourself.
I think the same. Show the best of your culture.
Yeah, of your culture, of yourself.
Of yourself, yeah.
Because if you're with someone who truly loves you for you, that's the best way to have them continue loving you. By continue being you. And that's one thing I think that we do really well. And of course, there's always going to be times where you'll find yourself saying, like, am I really doing what's true to me? And then being able to communicate or really just doing it. Actions speak louder than words. So that would be the advice that I would have for anybody to your very pointed, specific question. Shout out to Joe. But yeah, that would be it.
Okay. So, Hagen, Javier, thank you very much for your time, for your words, and for being here in Chile with me.
It is a honor and a pleasure. And I can honestly say that there's nowhere else in this whole globe that I would rather be than right here.
Well, now I think I can end this episode with a lovely message to everyone and to my lovely boyfriend, who's not here.
We're talking after this.
saying that I love you, baby, very much, and that I'm so happy that you're here with me and finally making this interview to you. So we are